Hope everyone's doing well on this final Sunday evening. My name is Ryan Loede, aka The Machine, here with my guy here,
Landon Jones.
Landon Jones. So Landon, I knew him back from high school, and we're just gonna go over like some tips and strategies that he's been implementing that's gotten him from where he was at before getting into insurance to where he's at currently right now. And the cool thing is that where he's at right now is not going to be the determining factor of where he's going to get in life. So, just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, Landon. Where you came from, maybe how much money you were making on a weekly or monthly basis before you got into insurance, and get them up to speed of where you're currently at.
Okay, right, yeah. So, starting off prior to insurance, I had a few jobs. I was, shuffling between doing a moving job and restaurants and stuff like that. I wasn't really making too much money because I was content on making the bare minimum because I hated work. I didn't want to work full time. I didn't want to do more than I had to be able to survive. So, I was making about $400 a week tops. This was going on for about 6 months prior to insurance. Like I said before, it's because I did not want to work at all. And then something clicked one day. I was like, okay, I'm not going anywhere. Am I just going to continue to do this every single day for the rest of my life, making $400, just barely getting by, or am I going to create something? So I decided to create something. Insurance, I was a bit on the fence getting started. Never really could see myself actually doing sales and being an extrovert and actually going out and talking to people. Communication wasn't really too good in that subject. It's been getting a lot better over the past 3 to 4 months that I've been doing it. I've been noticing a huge change. Even when I'm doing these videos, I have a lot more to say, a lot more words come out. So, I'm a bit more comfortable than I was before. And it's just doing insurance ever since I started. The first month was rough. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had a lot of questions, but I wasn't asking them. I felt like asking questions was, I just didn't want to be the guy that, ask as many questions as I could. But little that I know, it's great to ask questions. You always got to ask. And, you ask and you receive. But yeah, getting started, horrible first month. Wasn't really doing much. Wasn't really working as much. I would make calls, hoping people wouldn't answer because I didn't want to talk to anyone. Because I was still in this shell, and I didn't want to get out at all. I wanted to continue to be me. I didn't want to change at all. I wasn't open to changing. I didn't want to be uncomfortable. I wanted to be comfortable. And I realized, hey, my friend Ryan's here living in Miami from doing insurance, from being consistent, from being uncomfortable. And I thought to myself, hey, there's something I have to do at this point. And if I don't do it, I'm just gonna quit insurance and go back to being a mover and making $400 a week. So, I started sharpening my blade, doing a little bit more research, reading a bit more books, listening to podcasts, Grant Cardone, listening to his podcast, turning my automobile to a library. Grant Cardone would say that a lot. So I've been doing that. I cut out music. I cut out a lot of things. I would unfollow people on Instagram. Cut out all distractions. And once I did that, I started seeing a little change. So one thing that I really want to push very hard would be, you always got to be consistent. Not everyone's perfect. There's always going to be, something comes up. It's life. We're all human. Something's going to come up. But you have to find a few things to continue to do. And be consistent on those few things. So in insurance, I'm on this inbound call model where I'm receiving calls. I have to continue to make outbound calls consistently, no matter how the day's going. Make outbound calls no matter what. Because I can create more opportunities, and therefore, more things can come back to me in a positive way. So always continue to find something that you can be consistent on. Like I said before, this is life. We're all human. Not everything's going to be perfect. Not every day's going to be exactly the same. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but you always have to do something every single day that you've seen, progress in the past that got you to a certain point. And yeah, that's what I've been continually doing, being consistent. It's been helping me out a great way. I'm 4 to 5 months in now. I've been seeing a lot more success than I've ever seen in my life. 3 weeks, actually this month, I've made close to $10,000 just this month alone. There's one more paycheck left, so I'm definitely gonna make over that, which is crazy. I couldn't even like comprehend like being in this position a year ago, 5 months ago, and it's just crazy. And it's just the opportunities are endless. You know, you just have to get out of your shell to where you can be the best person you can be possibly. And I'm still growing. I'm not perfect now, like I said. We're all human. I'm not perfect, but you know, if I just continue to be consistent, do what I have to do on a day-to-day basis, you know, I'll get to the best version that I want to be of me. Mm-hmm. You know, it goes a long way. It goes a very long way.
Wow. Look at that. I remember Landon, he wasn't even able to, you know, keep a conversation going for that long. And it was the same for myself. You know, we both, it's funny, we both went to high school together. We were both super introverted in high school. We didn't really talk to too many people. We kept to ourselves. And now here we are doing big things in the insurance industry. You know, I've seen Landon's transition from like who he was to who he is now, just a massive change and a massive shift. And that's what really gives individuals inspiration and motivation to continue to show up, continue to be disciplined, and to continue to be consistent. Like when you see these little shifts in your life and things are starting to improve even just a little bit, like that makes you just want to go all in even more. It makes you want to be even more committed with what you're doing and to put all of your energy, effort, and commitment towards it, right? Because that's what's really, you know, ultimately what it boils down to getting the results that you want. You have to be 100% committed. So, you know, some few key things I want to just kind of like dive into. We'll keep this tight. We'll keep this quick for the audience. So, Landon, you went from working, you know, a 9-to-5 job. You were a mover before, and you were making about $400 a week. Now you're making, even on the slow period of our industry right now, of the Medicare industry that we're in, you made, in the past couple of weeks, you made close to $3,000, 2.7, which is just like, wow, like if you can make 2.7, you can incrementally work your way up to making $5,000 a month, a week, $7,000 a week, $10,000 a week. And you're making, you know, you're close to making like 10, 12,000 this month alone in September, on a slow period of our industry in the field and career that we're in. So it's awesome to see going from $400 a week to north of $2,000 a week. And you know, something that I noticed you said is that, like, and don't, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said you kind of hated work. You hated work when you, and I was the same way. I was going from 9-to-5 job to 9-to-5 job to 9-to-5 job. McDonald's, Sears, being a drug dealer, you know, whatever it might be. And I didn't like work because I didn't have purpose. I didn't have a purpose. But when you have a purpose, you start to enjoy work more. You start to enjoy life more, right? And that's the stable datum, I like to, you know, we call it, of work, having a purpose. So if you don't have a purpose, you're not going to like work. But how else can an individual go from hating work to maybe potentially hating their job? Maybe they're in the insurance industry right now. Maybe they're in some other career, some other field. How can an individual go from like hating what they're doing to actually liking it? What was the shift that helped you to start to like insurance? Because I know before I let you answer that, I know like you didn't like insurance at all. You started maybe, what was it, 2 years ago when you actually like?
I started my pre-licensing 2 years ago.
Yeah, started pre-licensing 2 years ago. Didn't actually get licensed until like 4 or 5 months ago. You know, and you're just like, you came back around to it. It's funny because I think you were like helping me move or something 4, 5, 6 months ago. I'm moving to my Ohio place that I have in Ohio. And I'm like, hey, well, you could be my camera guy. You know, you want to follow me around? I'll pay you a weekly or a monthly salary. You can be the camera guy. And then what else? We talked about like insurance as well, but How can an individual go from like hating their job to actually like, what are the shifts that you make?
Well, it just depends on the job that you're currently doing. There's a lot of jobs that people hate doing, but they're stuck. They have to do it. I wasn't stuck. I didn't have to do moving. I didn't have to work 3 days a week. I could have made more than $400 a week, but I decided I'd rather be happy than just give my time away to this job that I did not like being at all. I'd be happy going into work and I'd just be mad. My mood would just completely change just from being in that atmosphere. Being told what to do, things I did not want to do, it was horrible. So, yeah, it's the transition. I'm glad you brought up the cameraman thing because that's actually, I didn't think about this before, but that's actually what built me into being committed to insurance because you brought that proposition to me and I was like, okay, let me start watching podcasts. I started doing that when you presented that to me. I was watching podcasts every day. I was watching the Grant Cardone stuff every single day and I was like, okay, so how can I be the best cameraman? And then you approached me a few weeks before I started like insurance, before I actually committed to doing the pre-licensing. You're like, hey man, you should definitely get into insurance. It's a bigger opportunity than just being a cameraman. So I was like, okay, I've already gained all that commitment and all the motivation was already up there from almost potentially being a cameraman. So it was easier of a transition to putting all that into insurance. That's why that's definitely what got me through the pre-licensing and getting started because all that motivation was already there. I was like, wow, I can still create something. Like being a cameraman, I've never done it before. I just assumed it'll be something nice. I'll be living in Miami. So it's just all that motivation and that pent up motivation, it was there. I just transitioned all that into putting my all into insurance. And that's how I got to where I am today. And it was a wild, crazy experience and transition because like you said before, I did not want to do it at all. I was so against it. Everyone was telling me that they were against sales. You shouldn't do it. Oh, it's a scam, it's a pyramid scheme. You shouldn't do it. I know. I never listened to them. I'm hard at listening. I don't really listen to much people. If people are saying negative things, I tune it out. But Ryan and I have been very close since high school, and if he can do it, anyone can. So that's where I'm at today. Just going to continue to push myself to the highest limit that I possibly can go to. And just motivation. Another thing I want to touch up on, motivation. You don't want to use motivation for everything. You're not going to be motivated every single day. Discipline. You have to be disciplined. That's going to get you through day to day. Waking up early, completing your tasks, going to the gym. Some people go to the gym only when they're motivated. If they're disciplined, they're going to go to the gym every single day. And apply that to life. Apply that to your job. Apply that to what you want to be. If you're in college, discipline, sticking out through college all 4 years. Insurance, sticking out throughout the whole pre-licensing contract. There's a lot of stages and everything. Insurance is, it's not as easy as it seems. It's pre-licensing, contracting. You got to start off making calls. They're not cold calls, but you're making calls, and it's just a lot. But if you continue to be disciplined, you're not going to be motivated every single day. There's going to be days where it's slow, you're going to be upset. Continue to be disciplined. It's going to get you throughout life. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that's big. I appreciate you sharing that. Now, another key thing that I picked up that I want to bring to the audience and kind of highlight to the audience is the fact of what you were talking about being consistent with something on a day-to-day basis, right? Just being consistent. And that's what's helped me out tremendously, the past 7 to 8 years of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, being in the insurance industry is just like finding those things that I can be consistent with and doing it every single day, right? So that consistency, it stacks wins, it builds up wins, right? And that's what's going to give us the fuel to continue to move forward. Like if I can consistently do like small little things, no matter how small they may be, like waking up early in the morning at a time that I would like to wake up, going to the gym like you were just speaking about, making calls, prospecting, reading books, reading audiobooks. Like if I can consistently do all those small little things, they're going to build up little wins, and that's what's going to keep me fueled. For me personally, that's what's going to keep me fueled. It's going to keep me in the game. So you talked about like consistency. Can you kind of like talk a little bit more about that? About like the small little wins, being consistent on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so consistency, things that you do on a day-to-day basis that you always do, that you continue to do. For example, you wake up every morning, you brush your teeth. You don't have to brush your teeth, but you do it anyways. When I'm making outbound calls, I do it every single day. So it kind of feels like, wow, I'm doing this every single day. It doesn't feel like a task. It's just a normal thing that I'm waking up to do. Like I'm doing it every day. I know I don't have to do it. I don't have to take a shower every day. I mean, I still do. It just makes, the more you do it, the more you'll feel like it's not like, oh, I don't feel like doing that, because it's just in your day to day. It's like a routine. It's a daily routine. And now you can just apply, like I said, the small things. If you make a big schedule, you say, I'm gonna do this every day, I'm gonna do this every day, you're gonna fall off eventually. Just do the small things and build them up all the way so you can do everything that you wanna be consistent with, man. That's what I'm starting off with, small. Been making outbound calls, like I said before, making outbound calls while I'm doing inbounds every single day. No matter if it's 50 calls, 20 calls, I'm doing something. I'm still being consistent making outbound calls. So I'm doing it every single day. And I'm gonna continue to build off that. I don't know what's next that I'm gonna add to it, but it's great because it doesn't feel like a task. I just do it without thinking. It just happens. I'm waiting for inbound calls, and let me call a few people, so it just happens. So it doesn't feel like a task, like I said before. It's great. Consistency, just find the small things and just build off of those small things.
Yep. Continue to build off the wins that you get. That's what's gonna keep you in the game. And like you said as well, is like the consistency factor. When you're consistently doing something day in and day out, like it's gonna become a normal habitual activity. Like it's not even gonna feel like work, or it's not even gonna feel like a chore or a task. It's just gonna feel like normal life. And that's also a cool thing about success. The more you win, the more success you have, the more it feels normal to you. Success begets more success. Wins beget more wins. Like the more you win, the more you're gonna win. Right? So it's just like the small little things that everyone talks about: consistency, discipline, being committed. Everyone has problems with it. Everyone has problems with it. I have problems with it. I'm sure you have problems with it as well, Landon. It's just really getting to that level where you're executing at such a high level. Getting to that point that you're just executing at such a high level. So man, it's just so cool to see where you came from. And also knowing, like I said earlier, is that like where you are right now is not where you're gonna be, because you're continually growing. You're getting into new environments, being here in Miami, surrounding yourself with new people, making new connections, getting out of your hometown. One of the biggest things that I've done, my first move was from Cleveland, Ohio to Charlotte, North Carolina back when I was like 18, 19. Knew no one in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I was jumping into a new career, a new industry, a new field, a new line of business, insurance. Didn't know anything about insurance, right? And you talked about this earlier, being uncomfortable, taking risks, being dangerous, right? And literally getting yourself outside your comfort zone is the biggest thing that anyone can do. So take some key notes from this little video here. Hope everyone found some value in this. And keep an eye out for my guy Landon. If you don't know him, you're gonna know him. Follow him on Instagram. What's your name on Instagram?
Landon Clifford Jones.
Landon Clifford Jones. That's right. You can follow him on Facebook as well. Landon Jones.
Just Landon Jones. Yeah.
Landon Jones.
Twitter, Landon Jones. Yeah. Landon Jones.
He's gonna be everywhere. He's gonna be everywhere. So great to see everyone. Hope everyone found some value out of this. Ryan Loede here with my guy Landon Jones. How he progressed so quickly in the insurance industry. Some key takeaways here. Consistency builds upon the wins, the discipline. Learning how to go from hating a job to actually liking a job. Right? What are some other key takeaways that we have
here? Discipline, motivation. We said discipline already.
Yeah.
We don't need that. But yeah, it's just, those are the three main ones: discipline, consistency. Oh, and trying to build from something. In the consistency, building from that. You don't want to just be stagnant and continue to be in one straight line. You want to progress. You want to go up. So you want to keep building, keep going forward, keep progressing forward, upwards.
That's right. getting yourself in a new environment, surrounding yourself with new people, getting rid of liabilities like you talked about earlier. I'll mention this here briefly before we close out. Like, you removed a lot of distractions, you removed a lot of noise that comes when you're trying to improve yourself. You're gonna have other people around you that are trying to squash you, they're trying to suppress you, and they're trying to, tell you, oh, insurance is a scam, it's a pyramid scheme, whatever it might be, right? And as you continue to improve in life, you're gonna have people coming out of the woodworks, like telling you, like, oh man, take it easy, slow it down. They're gonna be trying to hold you back, right? So you gotta remove those liabilities from your life. You gotta make a lot of sacrifices in order to get to where you wanna be, right? Like you removed a lot of people off of Instagram. You're moving here to Miami, Florida, away from your hometown, like a lot of big changes. But if you want to get to that level of where, you're not just scraping by on a week to week or year to year basis, and you're making $2,000-$3,000 on the bare minimum per week, those are the steps and actions and decisions that you're going to have to make, right? And like, hey, I don't know about you, but if you're watching this and, $3,000 a week, like that's good money. I mean, it's not bad money, it's not great money, but it's good money. It's good income. Like you can live without having to scrape by and worrying about money.
Right. And you can definitely live off that. And the great thing about this organization, Ryan leading us, you never want to be comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. If I was like, okay, I made it, I'm done. I'm satisfied with what I have. I'll just continue. Where I'm at now, like you said before, where you are now doesn't determine where you will be. I don't want to be the same version that I am now. I want to get better, So getting 2.7K in 2 weeks in a row, it doesn't determine where I will be. It's great. I'm happy, but I want more, baby. I want to keep going.
That's right. Always strive for more, never be satisfied. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll be coming to you more often here. My guy Landon Jones, myself, Ryan Loede, individuals at LC Financial Group. Hey, if you don't know LC Financial Group, we're hiring, we're growing, we're expanding in all 50 states. So if you want to learn more about what partnering with us here at LC Financial Group looks like, DM me, DM Landon. He's also growing his team as well. Or hey, email our careers at teamlcfg.com, careers at teamlcfg.com. You guys take it easy. Have a good rest of your day, good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening. And hey, if you found some value out of this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share it with other individuals, subscribe to the channel, follow my guy Landon on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Landon Clifford Jones on Instagram. Obviously, you got myself, Ryan Loede, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. We'll be coming to you guys. Appreciate everyone.